The Business of Apparel podcast is your one-stop shop to learn how to launch, grow, and scale your apparel brand. I'm your host, Rachel Erickson. Now let's jump in. Welcome back to the Business of Apparel podcast, where today we're going to keep talking just a little bit about Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I know I've been harping on this a lot for you over the last several weeks, but I want to touch on one additional subject here because I know I've been talking a lot about how you can structure your Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals differently than offering discounts. Because a lot of the time when you offer discounts on your full price goods, you've spent a lot of money to make high quality, high value goods for your customer. When you offer discounts, obviously you're depleting your profits and your margin. And so we've been talking about a lot of different ways in which you can structure your sales or your offers for Black Friday and Cyber Monday in a way that entices people to still come to your website and shop and get new items and all of that kind of stuff, but maybe doesn't include discounts. So we've been talking about that, but I realize that many of you are going to want to do discounts because it does tend to be the standard for this weekend that is coming up, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. If you want to do discounts, let's talk about it a little bit, okay? Because you need to do pricing strategically when you give discounts. Now, I talked about this, I think, a little bit last time on the podcast episode where we talked about Black Friday, Cyber Monday plans. And one of the best ways to offer discounts is to take the items in your inventory or the items in your warehouse that you are trying to move out. This inventory that is maybe a little bit old, something that you might consider dead stock. Maybe you've replaced a couple of items with some newer items. You've redesigned them. There's a better fit. Those items that are still sitting in your warehouse and you are ready to get rid of them. I don't want them in my warehouse anymore. They're actually a burden on my books to be carrying them in my warehouse any longer. Those are great items to put on super discount. And so looking at that first and seeing if there are any items that you can try to get off of your books, maybe that's a 40 or a 50% discount that you can put on your website. There's a coupon code for specific items. I really recommend that these are final sale on your website. So if you're selling old inventory, it's not that it's bad inventory. It's just that your brand has evolved. You've moved forward. You've made something better. And so you want to take a look at those kinds of inventory pieces, get rid of them. The next piece of advice that I'm going to give you, though, still applies to those pieces. And these are all decisions that you, as the CEO of your company, you need to make, right? Do you just want people to take that stuff off of your hands? Because the cost and the burden of carrying that inventory is going to hit your taxes hard maybe at the end of the year. Maybe you don't care if you're actually going to make a profit on those pieces because you have enough profit coming in on other newer pieces in your line. Everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different here. But when we are talking about giving discounts, I want you to go back to your line planning worksheet. And if you don't have one yet, I want you to go to thebusinessofapparel.com/gift. GIFT. We are gifting you a copy of our line planning worksheet. Super simple to use. You just put in the information that's in there. You need to know your tariffs and duty percentages. You need to know the cost of your goods that you're getting from your factory. You need to know your shipping costs. And you need to know how many items you're going to be ordering of everything. And last but not least, you need to know what are you selling everything for. And so that's what we're going to talk about right now. The retail price that you plan to sell everything for on your website, right? And so if you're giving a discount, let's say for easy math, we're selling a jacket for $100. We're going to talk about this $100 jacket throughout probably the rest of the episode here. If you decide to give a 20% discount on that jacket on your website, I want you to put into your line planning worksheet $80 because that's 20% off of $100. Now that customer is going to get that jacket for $80. So when you do that and you put it all into the worksheet, there are columns in there that are pre-formulated out for you. So it will already calculate out your margin. And when you're looking at your margin, even when you are giving discounts, I want to make sure that you are at least, this is bare minimum. I want you to be at least at 30% margin. You started your apparel brand a few years ago with a vision, and maybe you've thought to yourself, I should be able to figure this out on my own, right? Or maybe you've been searching for a quick fix, like a new manufacturer, believing that's the missing piece. But what if the real problem isn't your manufacturer? What if the secret to scaling isn't doing more, but doing it differently? What if you could stop wasting money on the wrong things and avoid costly mistakes? What if you could gain insider knowledge and community support from a team that has over 70 years of combined experience working for the hugest brands on the planet? Introducing my Masterclass, Secrets Behind Billion-Dollar Apparel Brands. This Masterclass is for you if you're ready to stop feeling stuck, frustrated, and insecure. It's time to stop putting out fires and start building a profitable, fulfilling brand that can stand the test of time. Join me and learn the real talk, transparent mentorship that the industry doesn't offer. Discover how to create a brand that works for you, not the other way around. Go to thebusinessofapparel.com/secrets and sign up today. Now, again, the caveat, the asterisk to that is items that you might be willing to kind of just sell so that you can get them off your books because it's dead stock, it's old inventory, it's not items that you're even marketing anymore. Maybe you don't even have them on your main website anymore. You're trying to get rid of them. If you want to take a shorter margin than 30% on those items, that's up to you. But when you take a look at your marketing expenses, your website expenses to host your store, when you look at any team expenses that you have, when you look at paying yourself for the time that you spent on those items, even if you don't have team and you're not spending money to pay other people to do things for you for those collections, you're spending your time then doing it, right? That's all on you. So if you're a solo entrepreneur, maybe you're not even paying yourself, but you have to consider that time that you've put in to building what you've built. And so when you add all of those things up, the dollars and cents, all of the pennies that you've actually spent on creating those items, if your profit margin isn't bare minimum 30%, you're basically paying your customers to take that off of your books. That item is actually costing you money to put out into the world. And so even just to break even, I want you to see a minimum of like 30 to 35%. Now that's ugly. I'm not going to lie. A 30 to 35% profit margin in the apparel industry with all that you have to put into it, all the time that it takes, all of the development fees, all of the production fees, all of the shipping, all of the tariffs. If you are looking at a 30 to 35% profit margin, that is ugly. When I was at corporate, if we would see anything below 40%, it was considered a killed item. And the only reason we would keep it is if it was a high marketing piece. And that meant like when I was at Specialized, for example, if we had like a pro Peloton athlete writing in that piece, helping us market it. So basically like your affiliates or your influencers, if they were out there wearing it, writing it, we wouldn't kill it. Because we knew that was important, at least for our marketing stories. That was the only reason we would ever not kill a piece that was under 40% margin. And 40% is even ugly, especially if it's direct to consumer. Now, if you're selling wholesale, let's say this holiday season or for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, part of your sales strategy is to go to boutiques or try to sell into some bigger stores so that they can sell for you, right? That's what wholesale is. You're going to sell to a shop. The shop is going to sell to the consumer. Your goal to sell to wholesale is a 50% margin across the board, a 50% margin for you, a 50% margin for them. We've talked about this a lot. I know you're probably like, oh my God, Rach, I totally get it. You've talked about this so many freaking times. I still want you to hear these numbers. I want you to hear them over and over and over again. So that's your goal for wholesale. Wholesale is difficult to get at a 50 to 50 margin percentage for both you and your wholesale. I'm not going to lie. It is not easy to always hit 50-50. So we would sometimes allow our wholesale margins to go down as low as 40%. Again, if anything was below 40%, it was basically a kill or drop. It was remove this from the line or continue working on it, continue negotiating this costing, raise the price, do something to get us back into at least like an orange. Like we used to have kind of a color, I used to have a color coding system at corporate. Everybody else always thought I was crazy. And people still do, I think, with the color coding that I put into all my spreadsheets. But I had a color coding system when it came to our margins. Red was anything in that like 30 to 40% range, like 30 to 35% range, I guess I should say. That was red. We were going to drop it. And especially if it was below 30%. Red. It needs to be evaluated. It needs to be improved, or it needs to be killed. We can't keep carrying this piece. It's actually costing us money to do so. Anything from like 35 to 45 was kind of in that orange range. Like, okay, I think we could kind of stomach this again, especially for wholesale. 35 to 45% was orange. It wasn't ideal, but we would take it. 45 to 50% was kind of yellow. Like, okay, we're pretty close here. We'll accept these. No big deal. And then for wholesale, anything 50% and above was in the green. We were good to go. That was like a very money piece for us. Now, when it comes to direct to consumer, your numbers are going to change a little bit here. I really think anything over 65% margin, if you're only direct to consumer, is in the green. I think you're in the green there. If you are doing split, so if you are doing some wholesale and you are doing some direct to consumer and it's the exact same product and it costs you exactly the same, you should be aiming for a 75% margin direct to consumer, because that will give you the 50-50 that you need for wholesale. That's how the numbers work out. So direct to consumer, I'd say basically 65% and above is going to be in the green. If you want to be kind of in that yellow, you're probably 55 to 65%. Orange is going to be 50 to 55%. And then honestly, when you're coming to direct to consumer, anything below 50% is probably going to be a red flag for me. Like if you're selling direct to consumer and you're only making 50%, we tend to work with our clients and tell them that that's kind of in the kill zone. That's kind of that area where we want to talk about dropping, we want to talk about improving something. And then as we layer wholesale on top of it, we're looking at all the different numbers in a bunch of different ways. Okay, so with that explanation, when you are going into your line planning worksheet to determine what kind of discounts you can give this Black Friday, I want you to be playing with that retail price, the column that has retail price in there for you. And I want you to play with different numbers so you can determine what the correct percentage is that you can offer either across the board or for specific key items, so that you stay in those at least yellow to orange areas. If you end up in those red areas, that's going to be a big red flag. I would really recommend that you don't offer discounts that put you in the red. It's just not going to be smart for your business. You've put in the hours, you've mastered the fundamentals, and your brand is no longer a passion project. But somewhere along the way, the hustle that got you here started to feel like a trap. You're building a business, not just making clothes, and you're starting to wonder if you'll ever crack the code to consistent, profitable growth. What if I told you that industry's top brands aren't just working harder, they're working smarter, with a clear blueprint for everything from line planning to streamlining their supply chain? This is the insider knowledge that's typically kept behind closed doors, but now it's accessible to you. Introducing The Board, an annual membership designed to give you that strategic advantage. Led by a team with over 70 years of combined experience, we provide the honest, real talk mentorship you need to move from busy to truly successful. We'll show you how to focus on the small, consistent actions that lead to massive progress, helping you build a legacy without the burnout. It's time to stop second-guessing yourself and start building with purpose. Don't pay attention to the chaos. Pay attention to what actually matters. Join the board and unlock the proven systems that will transform your brand. Go to thebusinessofapparel.com to find the option that's right for you. I can't wait to see you in there. So for those of you who choose and want to give discounts during this time for people to come for lots of big sales, this is a great way to draw in people for a huge weekend for you and your company. I am not denying that at all. We've had several clients who rely on this weekend that's coming up as like 30% of their business for the entire year. Now that brings up a whole bunch of other issues that those companies have, but it can be a really important weekend. And so I'm not out here trying to tell you to not do it. I am trying to tell you that there are better ways to do it. And I really recommend that maybe you come up with a key collection or like a holiday gift bundling situation that you can entice people to your website with. And you're actually then selling more, because by bundling 3 t-shirts together instead of just one, you're actually selling 3. You can still give a discount on that, but you just sold 3 t-shirts. I think that's a much better way to do holiday sales these days than to be giving discounts. And you can mix it all up, right? You can do a little bit of all of it. You can have bundles. You can have like a gift guide and a style guide that you want to give out to people. And so maybe that's part 2 of what you're doing this holiday weekend coming up. Maybe then you're also doing discounts on key items that you're trying to deplete from your line. It doesn't have to be one solution. But again, if you are doing discounts, I want you to go to thebusinessofapparel.com/gift. Get your line planning worksheet if you don't already have it. I want you to go ahead and download that and start putting in all of your information that you need. There is a second tab in the worksheet that you're going to get when you download it, and it will give you all the explanations of how to fill out the columns. We have done a specific podcast episode on how to fill out that line plan worksheet, so you can find that here within our podcast. This is a tool that we are trying to share far and wide, because calculating out your margins and knowing your numbers is going to be the number one thing that is going to help your business not just survive, but thrive, right? Like, you have to know your numbers as the owner of your business. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your margins, you don't know what it costs to acquire a customer, you don't know the lifetime value of your customer, you don't know all of these things, you're going to be in trouble. And so we want to help you understand how to do this. And we want to give you the tools that you need to make it really, really easy, right? So that's why we're gifting you this line planning worksheet. If you're interested in getting much, much more of that, that's why we have built the board as well. We want to be your board of advisors, not just to give you the tools, but to help you figure out how to use them, help you figure out how to read them. We want to be your partner in this, right? Like, we want to give you that partnership that you've been looking for, because we know how hard it is out here in the apparel industry right now. And a lot of times you are not getting the information that you need. You are not getting the tools and templates that are the most helpful to you. So we're out here trying to bridge that gap. If you're interested in learning a little bit more, you can go to thebusinessofapparel.com/join and learn more about our different memberships. You can choose an option that is right for you. We are trying to be as diverse and as option friendly as possible so that everybody who wants in can get in. This is going to be our last prepping for Black Friday, Cyber Monday episode. I know I've been talking about it a lot, but this is going to be the last one that we'll do. We will actually do a wrap up at the end of the year. I'm going to walk you through what to do after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so that you can understand how to start reading that data. And I think I mentioned last week too, we are also going to be hosting a workshop. I did confirm it is in August of 2026. We're going to be putting events up on our website here soon, so you can see all the different workshops and webinars that we're going to be hosting, all the different masterclasses that we're going to be giving. One of them will be how to read your holiday sales and your Black Friday sales from this year so that you can have a very successful 2026 holiday season as well. So we will go through that a little bit. I'm wishing you the best of luck. I hope you have an amazing Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale weekend, whatever you choose to do. And even if that is not participate in that weekend, I hope that that draws your community to you in a way that is very, very fruitful. If you liked this episode and it helped you, please share it with someone else who you think might also benefit from it. And if you have any questions or comments, we love to chat with our community. You can go ahead and put comments below right here in YouTube, or you can reach out to us anytime by emailing us at hello@unmarkedstreet.com. Thanks so much for being here with me this week. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to the Business of Apparel podcast. I would so appreciate hearing your thoughts on the show. And if you know someone who could benefit from it, please share it with them. My biggest desire is to help other apparel professionals understand the nuances of our industry so we can all work toward making better product for a better world. If you would like to connect further, I'd love to invite you to send me a message through my website, thebusinessofapparel.com, where I do weekly trainings through my YouTube video channel, a weekly newsletter, blog articles, and so many more resources to help you start and scale a profitable apparel brand. This podcast is produced by Box 7 Media, who I cannot speak highly enough of. If you're looking to start your own podcast, You can reach out to Jeremy at Box 7 Media on LinkedIn anytime.